Hey, I'm AJ Schraeder, and today we're exploring Las Vegas.
For many people, the Vegas experience starts as soon as you step on a plane. I don't think I've ever successfully gotten through a flight there without hearing at least one cliched joke involving lost wages or the inability to take something out of Vegas.
A lot of people think that Vegas is all sex and gambling, and although there is a lot of sex and gambling here in Vegas, they've got some other things to do too. So we're going to take a look at all Vegas has to offer.
Though today has ended.
A lot of people like to hit the tables as soon as they arrive, but we instead decided to do a little sightseeing, and Vegas definitely gives you a lot to see. It's easy to feel a little sensory overload here, so in order to avoid that, we needed to head to higher ground to get a better perspective.
The high roller Ferris wheel at the Link Casino is the largest in the world. And it's a great place to meet your social media quotient for the day as you take some selfies with a majestic view of Vegas in the background.
The title of world's largest Ferris wheel doesn't come easy. Other famous Ferris wheels, such as the London Eye and the Singapore Flyer, put up a good fight, but with a 520-foot diameter, the high roller beats them all. A trip in the roller takes about 30 minutes, and pricing for the attraction varies based on time of day and if you want the ability to get sloshed during the trip. Since I was technically working, I chose the less expensive daytime option and decided to hold off on drinking till I wasn't 550 feet in the air. The wheel has 28 spherical cabins, which can hold up to 40 people per pod. The wheel is in a constant state of slow motion, so there's sure to be a pod whenever you arrive during operating hours. I timed my trip perfectly so that I was able to stop a young couple from having a cabin all to theirself, which is lucky because I was worried I wasn't going to have time to work on my chaperoning skills while in Vegas. In addition to being able to see the insanity of the Vegas streets from high above, the high roller also gives you a chance to appreciate the desert and mountain landscape that surrounds the city. The contrast of these two environments is a marvelous wonder. The views overlooking the city really are spectacular, but if you want to make the experience even more unique, the high roller offers a ton of different options, including an open bar cabin, a chocolate tasting experience, and even a yoga class.
So I just got off the Big Apple roller coaster at New York, New York. It's quite the ride. It's $15 for a single ride unless you're a guest of the hotel already. But remember to leave any items you have in the hotel room because loose items aren't allowed on the ride, and it's going to cost you an extra 50 cents to use one of their lockers to store your stuff at. Also, they don't allow any photography on the ride. So if you want a keepsake, you're going to have to pay for their commemorative photo, which is a little bit pricey.
The New York, New York Casino is part of the MGM Resorts, which means your player's card here will work at a variety of other destinations on the Strip. The casino jams a ton of New York's most famous features into a single building. The facade of the building features the Statue of Liberty, the Empire State Building, and the Brooklyn Bridge. It really feels like you're looking at the New York skyline, if the city were covered with a giant roller coaster, which I'm actually surprised no one has pitched as an alternative to the subway system. The roller coaster itself zips through both inside and outside of the casino, and its yellow cars attempt to pay homage to the city's famous checkered taxis. Which makes sense, because my attempts to summon an alternate rideshare roller coaster were unsuccessful. My own personal aversion to thrill-seeking made the ride just as stressful as actual New York traffic. But if roller coasters are something you enjoy, you'll probably appreciate the unique nature of this ride and delight in zipping around high above the Vegas Strip. The interior of the casino has just as much East Coast flair as the outside. And in case Vegas didn't have enough neon for you on its own, they've thrown in their own Times Square decorations. The smaller shops around the casino floor create kind of a stylized movie version of New York and its cramped streets.
Las Vegas, of course, is known as Sin City. But perhaps the sin you're looking for isn't greed or lust. Maybe you're into gluttony, and there's no better place to find that than at Hershey's Chocolate World, outside of the New York casino.
There's a lot of reasons to be enticed to enter this Hershey's 13,000 square foot flagship store. They have not one but two candy statues of Liberty, one made of Twizzlers and the other of nearly 800 pounds of Hershey's milk chocolate. The store pays tribute to all of Hershey's delicious products, but the second floor is home to my personal favorite, the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. I never thought I'd want to eat a light fixture, but this store has changed my opinion. The store opens every day at 9 a.m., and you'll often see workers handing out some free samples or cookie coupons earlier in the day to help draw a crowd in. Most days, they close at midnight, but Friday and Saturday, they stay open till 1 in case you want to celebrate your winnings with a chocolate feast.
Of course, the best follow-up to chocolate is more chocolate, because just down the street you can find a giant M&M store.
You probably don't think of Vegas as a place with a lot of kid-friendly attractions, but M&M World has you covered, and not just with a hard candy shell. Zing!
How many different ways can there be to make an M&M? How about 4 stories worth?
In addition to lots of candy, M&M World is a great place to grab souvenirs featuring the M&M characters, and even meet some of the characters come to life.
Hello.
You're my favorite color of M&M. If you're willing to pay a little something, the store features some additional attractions, such as the ability to personalize an M&M. And it also has a free 10-minute interactive short film that plays throughout the day at the M&M Theater.
There's actually a lot of free attractions here in Vegas. Granted, they're trying to get people into the casinos so that they'll spend money, but hey, beggars can't be choosers. One of the most popular free attractions is the Bellagio fountains. Starting around 3 p.m. every day, they have a show every half hour till 8 p.m. And then after that, it's every 15 minutes.
If the Bellagio fountains were a human performer, they'd be considered incredibly versatile, due to their ability to effortlessly shift between genres. This iconic attraction tackles classical, pop, Broadway, and operatic all with equal aplomb. Numerous designers, musicians, and performance artists have been invited to assist with the choreography of each piece, which results in aquatic performances that can be quiet and reflective or an in-your-face party. The fountains are comprised of over 1,200 jets nestled in this 8.5-acre lake. The jets are capable of firing water over 450 feet in the air, and a staff of 30 people works every day of the year to maintain this complex achievement. If you find yourself on the sidewalk when one of these shows starts, it's best to just stop and enjoy yourself, because the crowd that gathers to watch is sure to make passage a little difficult on that side of the street. The Bellagio doesn't limit its visual spectacle to the outside, however. In the lobby, you'll find Chihuly's famous ceiling sculpture. The ceiling has over 2,000 glass flowers and covers 2,000 square feet. Like many other resorts, the Bellagio also has some non-permanent displays that change based on when you might be visiting. We found ourselves there during the Chinese New Year, kicking off the Year of the Pig. The Bellagio Conservatory and Botanical Garden featured an impressive display paying tribute to this event. Although the most famous fountain of the Bellagio is outside, the most delicious fountain is inside. This is the largest chocolate fountain in the world and contains over 2,000 pounds of melted chocolate. They of course keep it behind glass, otherwise it'd be too tempting to stick my face in it.
If you've ever wondered what it's like to take a gondola ride through a mall, then the Venetian might be the place for you.
All kidding aside, the canal shops of the Venetian offer an incredibly picturesque shopping experience. The design of the building gives the sense you're in some romantic old world city, and the Grand Canal weaves under bridges and around cafes, creating an incredible atmosphere in the building, even if you don't want to fork over the cash to actually get on one of the boats. If, however, you decide you want to go for a ride, the Venetian offers a variety of different gondola packages, with both inside and outside rides available. A private gondola for two costs $116, except around Thanksgiving and Christmas, when the prices jump a considerable amount. If, however, you've heard of my remarkable chaperone skills and want to bring me along on your gondola experience, it costs just $29 per person for a shared gondola ride. Just like the Bellagio, the Venetian was also decorated for Chinese New Year during our time there. Their display was in the vicinity around the Venetian's permanent love sculpture from artist Laura Kimpton. The waterfall, which acts as a backdrop to both the sculpture and rotating displays, helps add a sense of serenity to this normally busy shopping area. Although the architecture of the Venetian draws inspiration from Venice, Italy, and gives off the feel that it's been here forever, the resort is only about 20 years old, as it opened in 1999. All of this beauty came at a price, however, as building costs are estimated at $1.5 billion. And the same year the Venetian officially opened its doors, another European-inspired casino also came into existence. As it was originally designed, the Paris Resort and Casino called for a full-size Eiffel Tower replica. However, the nearby airport told them that would cause a problem, and they had to settle for a half-size replica. If you want to get out of a city filled with lights and into the city of lights, then the Paris Casino is the perfect stop. The blue sky mural, cafes, and fountains are a calming contrast to the buzz of slot machines. Much like everywhere else, gambling is the chief activity here, but the Paris also has a jazzy nightclub and a number of other charming vignettes that help transport you to a different world where you might feel more appropriate getting sloshed on wine rather than a Long Island iced tea.
Because I'm super white, I know Caesar's Palace primarily as the casino that Joey worked at in Friends, but it's also got one of the largest collections of naked statues anywhere in Vegas.
As one of the Strip's most iconic hotels, it's no wonder that Caesar's Palace has been featured so often in television and movies. There's nothing subtle about this Roman-themed resort. In its storied history, it has hosted many famous performers, such as Celine Dion, Cher, Bette Midler, Elton John, and Frank Sinatra. Considering its Roman theme, it also seems appropriate that it's often hosted the modern alternative to the fights of the Colosseum. Many big-name boxing matches have occurred here. Everything about this place is grand. Even the floors and ceilings of this casino are incredibly ornate. You definitely want to give yourself some time to explore this vast structure, as it seems there's a new fountain or statue down every hall. The Forum Shops, also known simply as The Forum, comprise a shopping mall that is over 600,000 square feet. The shops are navigated with the help of spiral escalators and are surrounded by, you guessed it, even more statues and fountains. The exterior is just as grand and features replicas of some of Rome's greatest sculptural achievements.
New York might be the city that never sleeps, but Vegas is a city that stumbles home at 4 in the morning. That makes early morning in Vegas oddly peaceful, or at least as peaceful as a city surrounded by neon can be.
Vegas might start off a little groggy-eyed in the morning, but it doesn't take long for the Strip to once again fill with people.
It's easy to forget that the Strip isn't just open roads, so it's important to remember to obey the crosswalk signs if you don't want to get honked at constantly or hit by a car.
The Strip has almost too much to see and do. Both the shops at Crystal and Miracle Mile are world-famous shopping destinations. They're full of standard name brands as well as things you won't find anywhere else. Entertainment readily spills outside of the casinos and onto the streets, with plenty of showgirls looking to charge you for a picture, or magicians and musicians hoping you'll toss a tip their way.
Maybe you're the sort of person who doesn't enjoy debaucherous activity. Maybe you came to Vegas to just try and get your Fitbit goal. And if that's the case, then the Strip is the perfect place to walk around. And while it's a great place to see things during the day, it really comes alive at night.
Some people might consider all the flashing neon of the Strip to be a little tacky, but so what? The fun of the Strip is infectious, and once you're actually here, you learn to stop judging it so much and just enjoy the ride. In order to help with pedestrian traffic, the Strip has bridges every couple of blocks to allow you to cross from one side of the street to the other. These help people not dart across the street when something catches their eye, but it also is a great place to take in a more encompassing view of the mesmerizing cacophony in which you're surrounded. We've already covered a number of casinos on the Strip, but there's no way to get to them all, and each offers a unique experience. That means it's easy to spend your entire trip on basically this one street. However, even though the Strip is the best known Vegas destination, it's not the only place where you can hit a block of closely packed casinos. A short drive or Uber trip downtown leads to another bustling Vegas location, with its own special charm and world-famous casinos. I'm of course talking about Fremont Street. Down here you'll generally find slightly lower table minimums, as well as the nightly party that is the Fremont Street experience. One of the biggest free attractions in the area is the Viva Vision light show, which utilizes the world's largest electric sign to create a breathtaking visual display at regular intervals starting at dusk each night. The show uses over 12 million LED lamps and 220 speakers. But there's a lot more going on here than just a light show. You'll find large stages here as well that offer free shows by local Vegas bands and DJs, often rocking out a series of crowd-pleasing covers. And wherever a crowd is gathered in Vegas, you're also sure to find independent street performers, showcasing various acrobatics, dance moves, or special photo opportunities. Tossing a buck or two to these entrepreneurial performers is at least a better investment than a slot machine. Just a couple blocks away from Fremont, you'll find a bit of Vegas history at the Las Vegas Mob Museum, see? Popular culture has made us think of the mafia as an integral part of Las Vegas's evolution. The Mob Museum is a nonprofit that helps the public's understanding of organized crime's history here in the city and in American society as a whole. During our visit, a number of the areas were closed off for a special event, but the parts we were able to see gave a fascinating look into the story of organized crime and the law enforcement officers who have routinely worked to thwart their plans and bring them to justice. You can even opt to purchase special tickets for some of their more hands-on offerings, such as a firearm training simulator. Like any good museum, this place also has a great gift shop, where you can grab some souvenirs for the soprano or Godfather lover in your life. I think it's pretty obvious by now that Vegas has a lot to offer outside of just tables and slots. With the various casino themes and attractions, you might feel like you've been on multiple trips by the time you leave here. What happens in Vegas stays with you for a lifetime, just like any other great travel.
Right now, man, I gotta move, gotta travel. I gotta fight right now, it's a battle. I gotta travel from city to city, trying to build my empire so big, just like I'm Diddy. But I travel, just to Vegas, just to be elevated. Everybody looking at me rapping, why do they hate it? I paint an illustration, super basic, come from the basement, so right now I gotta take it. All to the patience, I'm impatient, I'm racing my mind. Take this little light of mine, then I gotta just shine. Cause everybody looking at me, man, I came from the dirt, from the gravel. Went from state to state, now I gotta travel.